Hey everyone, quick disclaimer I wanted to be transparent with. The recording of this interview was September 14th, which was a little over a week before the Commander ban announcements and the subsequent relinquishing of control of Commander format by the RC to Wizards. So I just wanted to be clear with everyone as to the context of this interview and imply that maybe some of the answers may have differed had this interview been conducted after that announcement. Thanks.
What's up, everybody? It is I, Alex, the TCG dude, and today is day one of the journey. We are starting a podcast of sorts, talking about Magic the Gathering and pop culture and, just what's alive and kicking in the 2020s, I guess. But today, we have an agenda. That's right. We are actually doing an interview. We have a special guest. Our special guest, if you would please get excited for Cptwaffles.
What's up? Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an honor to have you as a guest here today.
Well, I mean, I'm happy to be here and see what you throw at me.
Right. Hopefully it's more softballs than hardballs. You know what I'm saying?
That's what she said.
Probably. So yeah, we're gonna have three main segments for the show. We're gonna have our icebreaker, and we're gonna go into the questions, and then we'll have a little bit of cleanup step, kind of fun time at the end to have a little dessert, so to speak. All right,
So what you're saying is
so
we're gonna have an upkeep with a main phase, then we're gonna have our combat phase, and then our cleanup phase.
pretty much, yes, I dig it. Oh, but no. Second main phase.
Yep.
Gets me every time. All right, so for today's icebreaker, if anybody isn't familiar with icebreakers, it's pretty much an activity usually conducted in a group of folks to try and help people get to know each other or, break the tension a little bit, whatever. So today's icebreaker is word association. Yeah, so
Boobs. Oh wait, we're not starting.
Dang. Reproductive organs. Yeah, no, actually it's just 10 words that are Magic the Gathering related. No particular order. Pretty simple rules. Don't use the same word twice, and if possible, answer with one word. But I understand that sometimes names of cards may be multiple words or whatever, if that's what comes to mind. All right, so you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hell yeah. All right, first word. Mana.
Dork.
Planeswalker.
Fun.
Storm.
Amazing.
Land.
Tapped.
Lifelink.
Really?
Understandable. All right, 5 more. Creature.
Grr.
I guess that's zombie speak. All right, sleeve.
What's the word?
Sleeve.
Like leave? Like leave the battlefield?
It sleeves the battlefield quickly.
Oh, sleeves. Okay. Protection.
Nice. All right, next word is format.
Modern.
Well played, sir. All right, last 2 words. Flashback.
Again.
And deck.
I think you said deck, so I'm going to say large.
Yes, sir. Only the mighty have them.
Yep.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, hey, well done, man. That was fun little word association there. I'm sure anybody listening is gonna, laugh or maybe be disgusted by some of your answers. But if you have your own, please feel free to comment, and leave some feedback. We'd love to hear what you guys thought of those words. All right,
You
so
just said
we
the
are
first
done.
thing that came to mind. So
Right. I can't be held accountable for anything that came out of my mouth.
we're in it.
Yeah. Right. Oh, goodness. All right, so here we go into the next section of the show, the interview. And yeah, we're going to get the questions rolling here. So, first part, introduction, background. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into Magic the Gathering.
Oh boy, that was ages ago. So I started playing about, I think I want to say 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
For some of you that don't know how old I am, that was about 99, 2000 era is when I started playing. Back when the old border was still in. And then I started playing just kind of casually. We would play during lunch at high school and stuff like that. And then as I started to like get more and more involved in it, I'm a super competitive guy. Like I grew up around games. Like my dad taught me chess when I was 5. He taught me backgammon, Uno, Skip-Bo. I mean, you name the game, I probably have played it if it's an old classic game. Like a lot of people don't even know what Mealsborn is, and I played that game. And so
Mm.
I grew up. My dad was one that he's like, you're going to earn the win. He never would let me win. So he instilled that competitive spirit into me really early. And so that transitioned into sports. I played sports. I played baseball. I did water polo, track, swimming, all kinds of different things. And I was super competitive, always wanted to be first. And, a lot like Ricky Bobby, if I wasn't first, I was last. I didn't like it. So I definitely wanted to win. And so it wasn't until I was 19 that I finally beat my dad at chess. It took a long
Wow.
time, but when I did it, it was a great feeling. He still whips me to this day at backgammon and other things when I go visit and things, but it's fun. I mean, that's one of the things I've always learned, that you're not always gonna win, but if you
Yeah.
strive to win and you learn from people who are quote unquote better than you will grow as a
Mm-hmm.
person and get to that point where you can be that person where everyone looks at you and goes, ah, I don't want to play you. So I mean, I get
Yeah.
that at my local LGSs. I'll go and they're just like, oh man, I'm paired up against you. And it's like, I can lose. It doesn't mean that I'm unbeatable. I just have a
Yeah.
lot of experience and a lot of years in this game. But I
Heck
have
yeah.
no problem talking to you, helping you out. Like I've had a ton of people that I play round one in a pre-release, and they're like, can you look at my deck? And then I'll talk them over it, like, be like, hey, this is what I think you should play and this and that. And then they come back to like, oh, I won every round after you. And it's like, cool, good job. Like part of that was me kind of coaching you, but the rest of that was all you. So, I like to, I don't want to take all the credit for it. You piloted the deck. So it's like, I just kind
Yeah.
of gave you a little bit here and there and you did the rest. So yeah, I
Okay.
grew
So
up in California. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, my bad. I was just gonna,
No, you're good.
agree that it sounds like you have a background in competition and sports and
Mm-hmm.
just really putting yourself out there, including Magic. So that's cool. That's cool.
Oh yeah, no. I grew up in California, in the Central Valley, and it was, I always call it Satan's asshole because it's so hot and smelly. But yeah, like I had friends there that we grew up and we played Magic for years, and we would travel up and down. We would do the grind, went to the GP circuits, the PTQs, everything we could get our get our decks into. We
Yeah.
went to. And I traveled to Salt Lake, Florida, Texas, like all over, not only competing but also judging as well. I judged for probably 3 or 4 years as well, just to really get a good idea of the rules and how things work. And it
Oh,
made me a better
wow.
player, being able to
Naturally.
understand the intricacies of the rules. Um, it it allowed me to play in these high level events and do these plays that people wouldn't think of. For an example, I was playing
Uh-huh.
in a Grand Prix, and I'm playing a blue-black control deck, and my opponent is playing zombies. And so he attacks with 2 Juroff Messengers, which is a 3/2 with Undying, that when it dies, bring it back to the field with a +1/+1 counter. And whenever Juroff
Yep.
Messenger enters the battlefield, your opponent loses 2 life. And I think they gain 2 life. But so the opponent goes to attack with both of them. And I say, okay, in the attacker step, I'm going to flash in Snapcaster Mage, targeting my Tragic Slip in the graveyard. And they're like, that's fine. I go, okay, move to blockers. I go, I'll block one of your messengers and then we'll move to damage. And he's like, that's fine. He goes, take 3. And I go, okay. In response to the trigger of your creature dying, I'm going to Tragic Slip the other one, -13, -13. And then in response to that one hitting the graveyard, I'm going to Surgical Extract them. And he's like, no, they're back on the field already. And I was like, no, the triggers are on the stack. And while they're waiting to come back, I can exile them from your graveyard, hand, and library. And he wasn't having any of it. So he calls the judge over.
I
explain
bet.
everything to the judge. And the judge is like, nope, he's absolutely correct. They are removed from the graveyard if he chooses to remove them from the graveyard. Of course, I'm going to remove them from the graveyard. But, it's knowing that intricacy of how the stack works, where the steps fall in, things like that, knowing how to, I played back in the day when damage used to be able to be put on the stack. And that was a much tougher time than what people have
Right.
now. Because a Mog Fanatic could kill a 2/2 by blocking it. So, there's a lot of intricacies to the game that some people either don't know yet, or they just haven't looked into understanding the finer points of either the turns, how they work, static abilities, replacement effects, things like that. So,
Oh yeah, there's a lot of
I've
layers to
always,
Magic the Gathering. You're right.
yeah, no. So I've always prided myself in being able to really dive into the rules and understand how to interact with your opponent without them really knowing what the interaction is going on. One last example before we move forward. I was playing in
Sure.
a event. I was playing American Blade. So it was Cobb Blade, but red, white, and blue. And
Nice.
I had
America.
a Squadron Hawk. Yeah, I had a
Uh-huh.
Squadron Hawk on the field. And my opponent has 2 intangible virtues in play. And he goes to cast Timely Reinforcements. And he's at 19 with no creatures on the
Uh-huh.
field. So if I let this resolve, he's going to gain life and get 3 1/1 soldiers that are technically going to be 3/3. So I'm going to be staring down 9 power on the board. I had no counterspell in
Yeah.
my hand. But I was able to
Uh-huh.
counter his spell by playing Electrolyze. And I said, I'm going to cast Electrolyze, dealing 1 damage to my bird and 1 damage to myself, and draw a card. And he's like, that's the stupidest play. Why would you kill your own creature and shoot yourself? I said, does it resolve? He goes, yeah, it resolves. So I bend my Squadron Hawk, I draw my card, change the life totals, and I say, okay, your spell now resolves. And he goes, okay, and he starts taking out the tokens. Like, whoa, you don't get any tokens. We have the same amount of creatures, and we also have the same amount of life. So your spell does nothing. And he had to call a judge over because he didn't believe it. He says, no, it's on cast. I said, no, it's on resolution. It's not on
Yep.
cast, it's on resolution. And so the judge comes over and the judge says, nope, he's absolutely correct. You get absolutely nothing. So knowing just that little bit over your opponent will get you an edge in some of these games.
Absolutely, man. That's the beauty of Magic sometimes too.
Yeah, and so like in chess, in poker, in a lot of games, having that slight edge gives you a win in some of those matchups, or some of those, in poker, knowing how to bet, when to bet. Are you on the button? Are you last to bet? What type of hand might be out there? Things like that. Like, if an opponent is betting weak, if they're betting soft, and you're last to act, and you see that there's a full house possibility on the board, play into it like you got the full house, and they'll probably fold. So that's why I think about Magic as a little bit of elements of poker and a little bit of elements of chess, because you're maneuvering your pieces, but sometimes you're bluffing your opponent into thinking you've got something when you don't. So
that's right.
Yeah, and
it's the funniest thing ever when you're scared to death of losing the game and your opponent has cards in hand. They end up getting the win and somehow, and just showing you a land full or a handful of lands. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's crazy. I've had that happen once or twice.
Yeah, and so sometimes that's why you can't be afraid to play your cards. Like, yeah, you could be like, okay, they got 4 cards, but you have to understand, is this my route to victory, or can I take a different path? And if your route to victory is through those 4 cards, and you just gotta, you're like,
Yeah.
if they have it, they have it. You can't play
Right.
scared sometimes. Sometimes you just got to jam it and go, okay, if we get there, we win. If not, then it wasn't meant to be for us. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
That's
get
part of
that.
why I
I get
like to
that
play red
mentality.
white, bro. You know what I'm saying? That Boros
Get
burn.
out of here.
Sometimes you have to go sideways for the win. Just man
Yeah.
up, Bobby. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah. So
But all right, man, that's cool,
yeah.
man.
So,
You've been on both sides of the fence, so as a player and as a
oh,
judge.
yep. So yeah,
Heck
I've been
yeah.
playing for almost 24 years now. I started teaching my
Wow.
daughter. She has 2 of her own commander decks. She plays in some of the pre-releases when we go. She's won commander games. A lot of the times, I think people underestimate her. They forget
Hmm.
who's coaching her. No, I'm kidding. But they do underestimate her, and then all of a sudden she comes out and wins the game, and they're like, "Whoa, we did not expect that." But she's still learning, and still, we play games and stuff in this household. We've got all kinds of different games. We have Settlers of Catan, we have Everdale, we have all kinds of different games to really engage and get that, mind working on problem solving or
Right,
doing whatever you're
right.
doing in the games.
A lot of
So,
training in the waffle dojo.
yeah, and I love that my wife is so supportive about it. Like, she plays with us, like she plays games with us, and I'm actually trying to get her into Magic. I think
Yeah.
with Bloomborough, I might be able to get her in because she fell so in love with Everdale, and Everdale and
Okay.
Bloomborough, if you ever look into it, they're very similar with the style of like creatures and things. So I think if I get her a Bloomborough commander deck, she'll get into it more. But yeah,
Hey man, fingers
we
crossed.
yeah, right. Like, we've been together almost 11 years now. This will be our 5th year anniversary coming up in October. So we've been all over as well as a family. So it's been a wild ride. It's been fun. But I'm
All
definitely
right.
trying to get back into the competitive scene. And luckily
Hell
she's on
yeah.
board with it. And the kid, hopefully she can get up there too. And we're both jamming tournaments
Yeah.
together. So
Right, right. Well, what was that young lady's name? Is it Dana White or something like that? There isn't the young
yeah,
redheaded
she
girl.
dressed up like Nissa. Yeah, she dressed
Yeah.
up like Nissa,
Yeah.
played elves a lot. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's a pro player and
Hmm.
youthful age. I forget what her exact age is, but it's really
I
cool to
think she's
see
like 16 now, I want to say.
okay. Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
That's what's
because she
up.
was she was like 7 or 8 when she started, and this
Yeah.
was this was a while ago when this all went down. So I think she
Mm-hmm.
might be in her teens now.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, man. Maybe one of these days we'll bump into her at Magic Con or something.
Yeah.
But anywho's, man, well that's awesome. So it sounds like you have a rich history with Magic and you're a family man, it sounds like. And that you're able to seemingly balance that and share the gift of Magic, which is really cool. That's something that I TCG dude I'm very supportive of is keeping the flame lit with Magic and passing on the game. So yeah, that's cool, bro. That's really cool. I guess I'll move into 1B here and ask the next question. What inspired you to start creating Magic the Gathering content on YouTube?
So it's a little bit of some of my background with like NLP and coaching and things like that. Some of my older videos on YouTube, I've done like Hearthstone material.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a little bit of like League of Legends, things like that. But realistically, like Magic is like my one true love of like gaming. Like it's just
Right.
like I've even tried to like sell my collection and quit, and I've always come back, and it's like there's just something about the game that just keeps me drawn to it.
Hell
But on
yeah.
top of that, like just the content itself, like I enjoy watching box opening videos. I enjoy watching people play Arena, or Magic in general. Like I love sitting down and watching the Pro Tour, and things like that. So it has a little bit of the competitive aspect, but also like the coaching aspect is why I wanted to make content. So I wanted
Heck
people that
yeah.
either A, they're like, hey, I like this game, but I want more. So it's like I want to watch people open packs. I want, like, so if you notice the things that I do, I've done where I talk about cards. I open packs. I, do different aspects. I stream Arena and talk about what I'm playing and why I'm playing. And so I try to do as much of the game's aspects as possible, just
Right.
because I like everything there is about it. So I figure even if somebody doesn't like everything like I do, there's got to be
Mm-hmm.
something in there that they enjoy. And I know there's people out there that just love
Yep.
watching packs get cracked, especially, being so, broke I am right now. I love watching other people open it because I'm like, hey, you bought it. Now I'm going to watch what you open. No, I'm just kidding. But
Right, right. No,
I
it's
do
almost like flicking through
enjoy it.
reels or shorts, man. All right, one reel done. Oh,
Yeah.
one pack done. Let's get another
Yeah.
one.
So
Okay, so you're sharing your knowledge of Magic with others. That's pretty cool.
yeah.
I had the opportunity to hop into one of your live streams actually today. You were live streaming Magic Arena this morning, and I did notice that you were commentating pretty much play by play. You were being the John Madden of Arena right there.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
was
if you didn't
cool.
catch it, there was certain times that I was like, okay, I'm going to play this, and more likely they're going to go for the throat it. So then we're going to back up the play with this. And sure enough, like every time it would be like, play this, go for the throat, and then immediately play the next thing. And it was almost like I could read. I mean, I've played long enough
Right,
to
to
where
see
I
the
don't even have
playbook.
to see you. Yeah, I don't even
Yeah.
have to see your face like in poker when you can see if somebody has a tail or a bluff. I don't even have to
Oh,
see somebody.
yeah.
I can kind of tell based on the strategy of the deck, what they might be doing. If you've watched some of the other ones, you can see like I was playing a control deck earlier in the stream, and they
Uh-huh.
had already like cavern bat me, so they knew I had a counter spell. And I even
Yeah.
said to the streamers, like, they're trying to bait me to play this counter spell. And I saved it and saved it and saved it. And eventually they played a Liliana. I was like, okay, I have to use this counterspell on Liliana because I had a Sheldred's Edict. But I'm like, if I let the Liliana resolve, I lose two cards. But if I counter it, I only lose one because I'm losing the counterspell. But if I
Yeah,
let the
you're one for
Liliana
wanting the
resolve, I have
lily.
to discard a card. Exactly. I have to discard a card and then play the Sheldred. So I would rather one for one than get two for one. So it's little
Copy that,
aspects of the
bro.
game like that I like to kind of teach people. You got to think ahead. You got to think about the implications of, if I let this spell resolve, am I going to be able to be okay with it? Or if I don't let the spell resolve, am I going to be okay with whatever next threat they bring out? So it's
Right.
it's kind of like you gotta
It's kind of like
choose.
chess there, and seeing ahead,
Exactly.
moves ahead.
Yeah, you got to say, okay, do I sacrifice my knight or do I lose this pawn? Like, what do I want to do here? So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. That's cool. That's cool. I'm glad to hear somebody out here wanting to promote, deeper thought with Magic and really fleshing it out. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
All
there's
right.
there's a lot of games
I
in
was
the
gonna get on to
game.
the next question if that's cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, and yes, games within a game. No, you're right. There's the meta, the micro, the macro. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I feel you on that one. Um. All right. So, and I'm only trying to rush along because I got like a good number of questions here, and I don't want to
Oh no, you're good.
make this an hour and a half. but I am enjoying the hell out of this. So thank you for your time. All right. So question number 2A. What's the process behind creating one of your videos, and how do you decide what topics to cover, more or less? Like maybe what's important to talk about.
That's a good question. I mean, it comes down to some content can be evergreen, and then some content I like to make as just like I'm going to put this out there. I know it's going to be short lived, like the Pro Tour with Nadu. I knew that was going to be short lived, but I wanted to get it out there just to get some,
Right.
some traction on that aspect. But a lot of it's just a matter of what do I feel is important for the community?
Okay.
Whether it be meta or like I was talking on, I don't know if you remember one of the times I got on to a roundtable episode, and I keep
Uh-huh.
harping at the fact that surveil lands are really good. If you're not buying murder boxes to open, stash them because they're gonna be worth something. They're right now
Yes, sir.
they're like 80, $90. And if we're opening, you know, Dustmorn, which is 150, and it's not as prevalent to the cards that are there. Like I'm trying to help people, like, hey, like there's a lot of value in murders. So for
Yeah,
a lot of manners,
absolutely.
you gotta. So like I like to be that voice of like, hey, like I know everyone's kind of forgotten about it, but it's still there, and I'm gonna remind
Mm-hmm.
you and help you and understand that hey, if you're looking for something of value, here it is. That's one of the, like
That's
that right
right.
there, that keyword value. That's what I want to bring to the community is some value. So whether it
Hell
be
yeah.
helping with deciding what product to buy or what product to stay away from, or even just a way to up your game. That's the kind of content I want to put out there, and that's why I do it. What I love doing this. So it's all about
Okay.
bringing that value.
So buying a theme deck's not gonna win me a GP.
It depends on the theme deck.
All right.
If
All
it's
right.
I cringe to say this, but if it's mono red, you might win.
Right. Right. It's a meme that keeps on living.
Ah.
Hell yeah. All right. Follow-up question related to that. How do you stay current with new Magic releases and trends to keep yourself relevant and your content relevant? Like what's your sources? How do you keep yourself informed?
So I look at it obviously during spoiler season. I used to use MTG Salvation, but they kind of fallen
Okay.
off and they weren't as accurate as Mythic Spoiler. So I started
Right.
going more to Mythic Spoiler and really paying attention to the stuff that comes out. But realistically, there's so many sets a year that spoiler season isn't really spoiler season anymore, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Not like the good old days where you actually got excited for the 3 sets a year.
Mhm.
But I mean, to say like Mythic Spoiler is definitely one of the ones I look into. And then when it comes to like card pricing, TCG player is like the number one, but I also like to cross reference with like the old ones like Star City, Cool Stuff, Channel
Yeah.
Fireball, and kind of get an idea of like, is this like super low? Is it super high? Like what's going on with value here? Is it just
Yeah, you shop
people
around a
being
little bit.
busted? Yeah, just to see what's because I'll tell you what, it's like when you go to like Walmart or Best Buy or anything like that for video game, sometimes you'll find it $10 cheaper at Walmart versus Best Buy or Target or something like that. So every
Yeah.
once in a while you find a gem because like let's say Channel Fireball hasn't caught up with a certain rare that used to be 10 cents and now it's like $5. You can buy them
Yep.
out really quick and
Yep.
hopefully get the order. But as far as that's for card pricing. For I kind of have fallen away from like reading pro player articles. I used to do it a lot back in the
Right.
day with like Star City when they had their whole
Right.
spotlight. And then the whole like premium thing for like Fireball and it kind of shied me away. I'm like, I really don't want to pay
Oh
for this
no, did they
content.
have a paywall? Really?
Oh yeah, no, like Star City definitely got a paywall. Channel Fireball has a paywall. TCG Player, I think they're starting to really get on a paywall there.
Huh.
But I mean, I
Okay.
still like MTG Goldfish. If I want to see commander deck lists, I'll go there.
Yeah,
But there's a lot of websites out there. There's a lot of places out there to really find information. So
for sure. For sure.
if you don't want to pay for it, you can find it.
Heck yeah, bro. All right. Well, glad to hear that, you're keeping yourself tapped in, and not just isolated to one source because sometimes that can be bad news, bad look.
Hmm.
So that's cool, man. I dig that. Personally, I watch a lot of YouTube. There's a lot of content creators out
Oh
there,
yeah.
and so that's
Me
fun
too.
to be able to just put that on in the background while I'm like doing dishes or I'm a YouTube premium guy, so I'll put in the earbuds, take the dog for a walk, and I can listen to a Talarian video or something.
Hmm.
Not that we're sponsored by anybody else out there, but just showing some love. We see y'all out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. You know what? Before we step off into the next question, uh, it's interesting that you say that you used to read print articles, compared to, other mediums regarding Magic and how it's kind of dropped off. I actually recently saw that one of the main authors for Star City Games or one of those outlets, basically said that, print Magic articles are done. Like there's no use
Yeah.
in doing it. It's not they're not well received anymore. It's just a format that people aren't on anymore. A medium. People are just too much into video, I guess, these days. To be blunt.
Yeah, I mean that's the old classic thing. Video killed the radio star. So
That's right. That's right. Heck yeah, bro. All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna get into next question with something that's hopefully not gonna be killed by another staple format. But what is your favorite format of Magic the Gathering and why?
as much as it as much as I've hated the evolution of it because I feel like it's become the new legacy.
Uh-huh.
It's Modern. Modern is my favorite format because when I first started playing Modern, I played Blue Red Storm. I got really good at it, and I could pilot the deck to about an 80% win percentage.
That's really good.
Because
It's a
I'm really
complicated
good.
deck.
No, it is. And so, if you haven't seen my standard version of Storm that I currently have, it's on my page. Go check it out. I did a live where I built the deck and then played it. But Storm, it's just because it's so intricate and it's not a linear deck. I mean, it's linear with the strategy of what you're doing, but it's not a linear deck to where every game is the same, to where it's just like, okay, I turn one Thoughtseize you, turn two this, turn two Tarmogoyf, turn three, play this card. It's not this linear style deck where you're just going to beat your opponent down with a creature and some kill spells and it's over. Or like a counter spell deck where you're just like play land go, play land go, play land go. Okay, counter, counter,
Yeah. Super
counter.
mid-rangey
Big threat
control
win.
feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
there's a lot of intricacies of learning. Okay, I've drawn 2 of my desperate rituals. There's 4 pyretic rituals left. I've played, I have 2 blue sources. I have a Manamorphose in my hand. Like there's just you're kind of like that Zach Galifianakis with the little all the things going
Yeah.
around and you're sitting there doing the
Right.
calculations. It's like that. So that's why I love the decks so much because it really makes you dive in and play the analytics numbers of okay, it's
Yeah.
like you only play like 18 land in the deck. So you're just like, all right, this is what I need. This is what I need to draw, blah, 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 hit this, do that. So that's why Modern's always been really fun for me with Storm. Then they killed Storm off. I mean, it's still there. I'm trying to
Yeah. Up until
I'm in the
recently.
background trying to tinker and make a Storm deck for Modern.
Yeah.
And I have another deck that I'm trying to tinker with for Modern, but I'm not going to say what it is because I want to spoil it.
Okay. Okay.
But there is a deck idea I'm working on for Modern that's going to bring back an old classic deck. But yeah, Modern, it has so much of the legacy feel, but with the quote unquote modern day Magic. So you don't have to spend a buttload of money to get into it like you do
Just a
Legacy.
half.
Now
A
Legacy,
half a buttload.
just a half, yeah. You don't have to do an arm and a leg, just an arm.
Right.
So Legacy's fun, but it's old man Magic. And I just don't have the ability to play it, fund it, anything like that. I like
Yeah.
Pioneer. I like that it's Pioneer is what would be like the new man's Modern, and then you have
Yeah.
Standard. But Modern is probably my favorite format, and then Draft is my second favorite.
Oh, all right. See, there you go. It's awesome that you say that. I pretty much have similar answers to be 100 with you. Um, just because modern is what I'd consider a premier format before you're stepping off into the Marianas Trench of value, you know. But draft, I was just mentioning to my lady that what's beautiful about draft is that I don't have to have a deck to show up to the event. All I need is my playmat and my sleeves, and I'm ready to roll. Just pick my 45 cards or whatever, and 40 cards, and make a deck, and uh, hope for the best. And then I can use my prize winnings or trade to get something cool that I am going to sleeve up for a regular deck, commander, or what have you.
Yeah, and Draft, oh man, I could go into so many intricacies with Draft and how to draft and what you're watching for before you even play a game. Before you even play your
Huh.
first game, there is so much involved with drafting. And I know when I started drafting, I was awful. Like I would take cards like,
Okay.
oh, this is so good, and in constructed and this and that. And then I would play and I'm like, oh yeah, that's why people don't draft this card. And it was like 9th pick. Like, huh. Okay, now I'm starting to realize why certain cards, like I would get a pack and I'm like, why is the rare still here and all the uncommons? Why is the common missing? And I'm not
Right? It's so
realizing
confusing.
some commons are better than half the rares in the set when it comes to limited. So it was one of those learning
Yeah.
curves that I eventually got on top of and was like, okay, I get this.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's definitely different than traditional constructed Magic, right? You have to think different and almost on a smaller scale, because even a 1/1 can be a threat in the right setting, in the draft vacuum, I suppose.
Yeah.
So hell yeah, man! I'm glad you agree with that there. I will move on to the next one, 3B here. You've shared some already, but I had it lined up, so I figured I'll ask it anyway. Can you share a memorable moment in your history of Magic?
So I have one that doesn't entail the ones I shared. So it was my first 1K that I won. So I entered into a 1K. We were in Sacramento at a
For
Star
anybody
City
that
Games
doesn't
event.
know, I'm so sorry to interrupt. For
Oh no,
anybody
go
that
ahead.
doesn't know, what is a 1K?
So a 1K, basically it was $1,000 worth of prizes paid out to top 8. So first place ended up winning
Wow.
400, second place was 200, and then it broke down from there for third and fourth, fifth through 8. So first place took
Okay.
home 40% of the pot.
We're talking
And
cash money.
so
We're
we were,
talking half of some people's
oh
rent
yeah,
for first place.
I still have the picture. I took a picture of it on Facebook and posted it on Facebook when I did it. This was years ago. It actually came up in my memories one of
Yeah.
these times. But it was a
Oh,
Channel
okay.
Fireball. It was either Channel Fireball or Star City. I can't remember. I think we were at Star City Sacramento, and I think Channel Fireball hosted it while they were there. But regardless, I ended up taking first place, and this was back in the era of Cobblade. No, not Cobblade. Was it Cobblade? Yeah, I think it was Cobblade. And Red Green Titan Ramp was also one of the top tier decks. And
Oh,
so
wow.
I go into this tournament. It's like, I think it's like 70 people because we're at a Star City Games like invitational or something like that.
Yeah, and that's a
And I didn't do
populated
well
area.
in the yeah, I didn't do well in the main event. So I signed up for this the next day, and I played 2 Oblivion Rings in the main, and a lot of people weren't playing that card in Cobblade. And my friends were like giving me
Okay.
crap about it. It's like, why are you playing O-Ring? Like, that's not going to do anything. I'm like, dude, this is great against the red-green matchup because you just O-Ring the Titan and get rid of it and keep bashing in. And they're like, whatever, you're stupid. And so I go and play, and I end up going like 7-1, making top 8. And I get to top 8, and I play 3 back-to-back-to-back red-green Titan matchups. And every
Wow.
single one of them, I won because of the damn O-rings in my deck.
Bravo, sir.
Yeah,
Bravo.
no. So I ended up taking down the tournament. I walked over to my buddies. I was like, check it out. O-rings just won me $400. Like, no way. I was like, yeah, look, here's the check. And they were just like, wow. They couldn't believe it. So
Right.
sometimes you have to think outside the box, and it doesn't always work, but sometimes it rewards you. And so that was one of my best achievements there, was taking down my first 1K by thinking outside the box and going, I'm going to play one of the quote unquote best decks, but I'm just going to tinker it just a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Just a little adjustment goes a long way. Hell yeah, man. Well, that's a brilliant story. Like, honestly, I don't think I can say that I've won a tournament of that size. So you're definitely more advanced in the dojo of Magic than myself, sir.
Yeah, I would
But
say my
yeah, dude,
second
that's
best.
cool.
The second best story was when me and 2 friends played in Team Sealed GP in San Jose or Sacramento. I forget which one it was. We lost our winning in to the top 4. If we would have won our last match, we would have been in the top 4 of that Grand Prix, and we would have had to face Efro, David Williams, and one other guy who they actually won the tournament. We were that close to top fouring the GP and going on to the Pro Tour.
Dude, that's wow.
Yeah.
The line is so thin, almost
yeah.
there. And well, sealed is a completely different beast. You know what I'm saying? Because
this was
you can
team
get a
sealed.
total. Huh?
This was team sealed. They gave us 12
Team
packs.
sealed.
This was
Okay.
Ravnica. This was Ravnica. I think Return to Ravnica. And they
Okay.
gave us 12 packs of Return to Ravnica, and we had to build 3 decks out of 12 packs. And then I sat in the middle as team captain, and you could talk to each other in the middle of the game to decide how you wanted to play. Like if the player to my left was like, dude, I don't know if I should play this card, you could actually talk to your teammates and be like, well, I think we should go this way because of what he's telegraphing with what he has on the board. Like it was a team event. You
Yeah.
could sit there and oh, dude, it was a blast.
Okay. Okay. You know, I've heard that Two-Headed Giant and Team Sealed and those kind of multiplayer formats are actually really fun. I've got to dig deep into that and maybe
My
try one
two-headed
out.
record is 45-5.
Bro. Small flex, but okay. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's actually really good, man. That's awesome. That just goes to show that you can really coordinate with folks well, you know, share resources, I suppose.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay, so we'll press through the questions here. This is more geared toward community engagement. So how do you, Captain Waffles, engage with your audience and incorporate their feedback into your content?
So a lot of it has to do with I have my own Discord channel, I have my own Patreon. I do interact with people on both. Also, if people leave comments on my videos, it gives me a little bit of feedback of like if people really enjoyed it or if they were just like, meh, don't do this content no more. You know, things like that kind of gives me feedback. I do talk directly to people in Discord, like message them and get
That's
ideas.
cool.
I have people on the show. Like I've had people on my show. Like just last week, we did a live stream with Investable Collectibles, opening his box that he won in the pool game and just kind of getting him to kind of interact and like say, hey, what are you
Yeah.
expecting to pull? Like what excites you about this product? Things like that. But mainly it's a lot of just getting that feedback from people either through the comments or DMs.
Okay.
I mean, I do reach out to people at times and kind of spitball ideas and try to figure out certain aspects and what they thought
Yeah.
about content, just different things like that.
That's what's up, bro. So yeah, pretty open as a content creator. You're not on your island there. You like to
Oh no.
communicate.
I mean, this
That's
is
good.
literally called Magic the Gathering. So it's like I want
It's
as
in
many
the
people involved as
name.
possible. Yeah, it's in the name. Like EA
Hell yeah.
Sports. It's in the game.
Right, right. All right. Well, in regards to content and YouTube and Magic, what's one piece of advice that you'd give someone looking to make their own Magic related YouTube channel?
The one thing I would tell them is don't give up. It's easy to give up. If you start and you put out like 3 videos and you feel like you're getting no traction, trust me,
Yeah.
it took me a really long time to even break the 100 subscribers.
Uh-huh.
And like it's you got to put it out there. Like you're gonna get noticed eventually. It took me years to get people to notice me and see the things, and I'm still like this big of a channel. So it's one of those things where you just got to keep putting it out there. And the other thing I would say is don't let one bad comment
Mm-hmm.
ruin everything. I've had a lot of people give me negative comments, and the only thing
Yeah.
I can say is just brush it off and move on. Not everybody's going to like you, not everybody's going to agree with you. And that's
That's
okay.
right.
Like there's a lot of people I don't agree with and I don't like some of the things they do, but at the same time I respect that they're still putting content out as long as it's within reason. There are some pretty vulgar
Yeah.
things out there that I'm not going to back. But you know, if they
Right. I mean,
if
this is the
somebody says
internet
they
after
love
all.
mono red, if somebody says they love mono red, it's my opinion that I hate mono red and I think it's not a
Yeah.
deck that you should
Yeah.
play. But I'm not going to sit there and berate the person and say that they're an idiot and that they should quit playing Magic. No, like that's their opinion. If they like mono red, they like mono red.
Yeah.
I don't like mono red, and it's okay. It's okay that we have a difference of opinions. Because if everybody played mono red, then everybody would play the same deck. You know what I mean? Like it would be boring. So
Right.
it's
Right.
okay to have a difference of opinions. Just
Yeah,
don't
let
be an
TCG
a-hole
dude play the caveman red deck. It's okay. I got it covered, bro. Hell yeah.
I mean, I'll just keep beating you.
Right. So fancy with your blue red storm. Just be a real man with red. Just kidding, bro.
No, it's all good.
Well, that's cool. That's cool, man. I mean, so yeah, you can't you can't drive a parked car, right? So don't be afraid to get yourself out there and have a little bit of thick skin. All right, that's what's up, bro. I dig it. All right. So we'll, I guess, hardball it a little bit more. We're about halfway through the questions for our listeners and viewers out there. Thank you so much for sitting here and enjoying this. I'm loving it. I hope you are, Waffles.
Yeah.
Having a good time?
I guess I should have said this in the beginning, but if you want, just listen on 2x speed. It'll go faster.
That's right. Gathering of the Chipmunks. That's right. All right. So I'm gonna ask, what has been? I guess this is a good, follow up from what you were just saying. What has been the biggest challenge you've faced in your journey as a Magic player?
I want to say money, but everybody has that problem.
Right. Except Post Malone and his Lucky 101. No, I'm just
Right.
playing. Love you, Posty.
I would say the biggest challenge, a lot of it. So it can be a lot of different things, but I would say the biggest one
Right.
is mental capacity. Because like if you saw the end of the stream today, I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm just tapped out. I need to just take a break, get off. Like I need to rest. And so even though I love this game, I love making content, you got to take a break at times. You got to regroup with that mental capacity and understand that it's okay to like walk away sometimes. It's okay to take a breather. People understand that like I haven't put a video out in probably 2 or 3 weeks because I've just been so busy with like actual real life.
Right.
So this applies to everything in life, not just as a player, but as somebody who has gone through depression and alcoholism and other things in life. I would say the hardest thing as a player is mental capacity. You have to understand that there's going to be frustration. There's going to be times where you feel like everything is against you. Every time you draw, every time you sit down to play a game, every time you do anything, you're having to mulligan, your opponent's top decking you, like everything is just going wrong. You have to realize that it's not always going to be that way. Sometimes you flip the coin 7 times and all 7 times it's heads. Sometimes you flip the coin 7 times and it's 4 heads, 3 tails. It's a lot of probabilities out there. You have to understand that it's not always going to be bad, but you also have to understand it's not always going to go great either. But when it does go great, enjoy the hell out of it.
Hell
when it goes bad, just understand that it's just not your day, and you can pick it up again the next day and be fine.
Agreed. I can attest to that. It's funny you use the coin flip thing. I drafted Stitch in Time from Navnica Remastered, the coin flip extra turn spell, and all 3 rounds I whiffed my flip. So guess who lost? But it was still fun to tell the story. So, it is what it is. You already shared this one, but I feel like you might have one more up your sleeve. Can you share a particular success story or a milestone that you've had in regards to Magic?
Let's see here. Something I would say that just the fact that I have so many people that are supportive of this, I would say that that
Yeah.
has been a milestone in my life, that I've been able to surround myself with people who love and enjoy the same game I do, and not just like friends, but also family, like my wife, my kid, everything, and just continue to do this and have the support to use my free time to talk to other people and share my experiences and do all this stuff. So
Right.
I would say my biggest accomplishment is just the people that I've met over the years, the
Okay.
GP circuit, things like that, like just the group of people that I've met and just befriended. I mean, I don't know. There's so many memorable experiences. Like, I don't mean to name drop, but if you know who Shahar Shenhar is, he won the first ever and second. He won the first two world championships when they did the
Huh.
top 16 players. I've actually, this was probably like 10, 12 years ago, was
Yeah.
in Vegas at a Star City Games, hanging out with Shahar Shenhar, Alex Bertoncini, and about three other guys that I've been friends with for years now and still talk to on a regular basis. But we drafted Cube together and just had a blast.
Hey,
So
there you
it was
go.
really cool. You know, like
A
those
real
memories.
wholesome.
Yeah, those memories over doing this for so long is like the true success. Being able to just go out and just have fun.
Okay. I dig that. I dig that. That's yeah, you're at a different stage in life now, that you can share magic in a different sense as before. Maybe when you were younger, you were all about the grind and the focus and the win,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And that when you're laser sighted on that win, it can distract from the fun a little bit and the social. So I hear you on that. That's what's up, bro. I can see us rounding the hour here in the next 10 minutes. So I'll kind of rapid fire the last couple here, the last few
Okay, I'll
rather.
make them short.
And well, unfortunately, this one may or may not be a long-winded answer, but I'm sure you'll be able to articulate it pretty well. What are your thoughts on the current state of Magic and its future direction?
So if you asked me this 6 months ago, I would say it's a sinking ship that's on fire that's about to explode as an atomic bomb level.
Oh
But
goodness.
think I think they're actually making the appropriate steps to try to turn this around, even though it's going to take a little bit longer. But the main reason why I say this is because when I heard about the Spotlight series, oh
Uh-huh.
man, that inner Grand Prix child of mine sparked up so quick. Um, I was just like,
You could
yes,
catch them all and be the Pokemon master again.
yeah.
I'm
But no,
just kidding.
I've been harping on this, and you know this. I've been harping on this for the last like 6 months to a year. They
You
need
have been
to
an
bring back
advocate.
the GP circuit. They need to bring
Yeah,
it back. And that right
absolutely.
there, I think, will revitalize the ecosystem of Magic.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. I like hearing that because yeah, a lot of folks have been wishy-washy. And for anybody that isn't aware of what time we're recording this, this is pretty much fall 2024. So wherever you put that on your timeline, that's what we're talking about. But I don't know, man. I am
2026
hopeful for
bingo card.
Magic. Yeah, right. I'm hopeful for Magic to carry on. It may have some ebbs and flows, some highs and lows, but I think it's gonna stick around. It has staying power as a game. So yeah. Have you collaborated with other Magic content creators? And if there's none that you care to speak of, are there creators in the space or projects that you would love to collaborate on with folks? And it's okay to name the big names, small names, everywhere in between. I've seen people from 10 subs to over 1 million now. It's a large sea.
Yeah, no, I've done a video with Tybalt Apprentice. I jump on Superfast's streams here and there in the morning show. Hillbilly has jumped onto mine here and there. I've jumped on with DJ
Yeah.
Longhair. But some of the people that I would like to collab with,
Yeah.
like maybe jump on the Commander Knights people and play with them. And one
Yeah.
person who I've actually met this person in real life that I
Uh-huh.
would like to collab with is Day 9. So I actually gave him a ride when I was doing Uber in Oakland, San Francisco area. He hopped into my car one night. I
Yeah.
was picking up, I didn't know who the name was. I think it was his girlfriend or the other couple that got in. But I pull up and 3 of them hop in the back and Day 9 hops in the front seat. And I'm like, holy crap, you're Day 9. And he's like, what's up? And so we just had like a conversation talking about gaming and stuff. Super chill guy, super awesome. So I would definitely, he's disappeared. I don't know if he still does stuff, but I used
Uh-huh.
to love watching his content. So I would love to do something with him. He was super cool.
Heck yeah, bro. Well, that's awesome to see that you have eyes for what's going on in the space and that you've actually had an interaction within your car. I mean, not a lot of other people can say that about other content creators. So that's cool, man. And he paid you for it. I'm just playing around. All right,
Yeah.
man. Well, I guess that's a good segue into pretty much the last question here, and then we'll get into the last segment of the show, the goofy dessert time. What are your future goals or plans for your YouTube channel?
So one of the biggest things that I'm trying to work on, I don't want to say it yet, but a lot of it deals with like coaching. So I
Okay.
want to become like an MTG/gaming coach. And so that's one of the things that I'm working on with the channel by doing the streams
Nice.
that I do, doing the content that I do to show my aspects that I have and the knowledge
Mm-hmm.
of the game that I have and the understanding of what it takes to be somebody who wants to grind. If you want to be a grinder, if you want to be a casual player, whatever, maybe you want to be a
Right.
judge. I mean, that's something I can coach on too. But not just magic related, but also gaming. I mean, gaming in the aspects of playing like Call of Duty, Halo, any of those type of environments, there's a lot of mental gaming aspects that you have to understand. I
Yeah.
was somebody who used to grind Grand Prix and you'd play 10, 12 hours of Magic. You're literally like an athlete. And so having a coach guide you and help you understand what that environment's like is something that I would like to do. And so
That's awesome.
that's yeah, that's one aspect of it. Because I also have background. I took like psychology in college, and I also have NLP, which is neuro linguistics programming certification, and then I've delved into like coaching certifications and things like that. So it like the coaching aspect doesn't have to be all magic, and that's what I
Right.
tell people is like there is a lot of aspects in your life that you have to deal with as well, which is like understanding not going full tilt. So
Mm-hmm. I mean, unless you're being the Pete Carroll MTG coach out there, just how
yeah,
could you
don't be
fumble?
accurate. Yeah.
Right, right. Talk about a whiff. All right, excuse me, one more. Well, man, Captain Waffles, that's awesome. I appreciate all your input today and your time, and uh, I really feel like I probably could have came out swinging with some more deeper, hard hitting questions. But I think we touched on a bit, a well rounded conversation. We got your history covered a bit, and validated that with experiences at actual events, shared your thoughts on current state of magic and where it might be going and just your overall intention on your channel and everything and what you're doing out here to keep the flame lit and really share the gift of magic. That's cool, bro. That's cool. It's been a great time for the interview. Now we're going to get into the more fun time of the show. That's right. We are going to have the dessert. until further notice, I'm gonna just call it the dessert section. So truth be told, basically, I just wanted to kind of like, wind down, land the plane section of the show where we have a little bit of lighthearted fun, and I used AI for this. Now, whether you agree with the morals, ethics of AI, that's not, this podcast is not the time, place to discuss that. But we did use it for a little bit of
I know.
silliness related to magic. And I figured, hey, AI, can you help me like come up with some podcast names or like movie pun names, and maybe involve dude, maybe not. And so I don't have a perfect curated list here, so I'm just gonna read off a couple for you that I got over here. One of them was, dude, scry me a river. Right? Or, dude, where's my mana?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. One without dude. Cry hard. Right? Or you might like this one. The Fetchland Redemption.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Or I haven't seen this movie personally. I've heard it's really good though, and I thought this was a funny name. No Country for Old Walkers.
Oh wow. I've not seen that movie.
I know. Shame on me. All right, next time y'all see me at the Magic Con, you can just, toss my deck on the floor. Oops, he scoops. Or Full Metal Mana. Right?
Oops, all lands.
Oops. It's funny you say that, because I was gonna say it's almost Halloween season, and to get scarier, The Silence of the Lands.
Oh my gosh.
Right, bro, it's even cringier though when it's Attack of the Tokens instead of Attack of the Clones. Yeah, or I'll close it out with this one. A movie that, okay, a little bad story. I was a youth. I was just following the example of my father. Okay, we went to go see a movie in the morning, and then he's like, hey, guess what? We're not leaving. We're going to go see another movie. We walked into another movie, and he's like, we're still not leaving. I haven't finished my popcorn. And we go into a third movie. Fucking walked in, right? And it happened to be a Nicolas Cage movie.
Oh wow.
And you could tell because it's Gone in 60 Turns.
Oh my gosh.
Right, talking about
I was
slow
only
burn
thinking a
matches.
face-off reference.
Oh no, not quite. But yeah, so I figured those are pretty fun and funny, and just the old AI slapping words together and making us laugh. So cool, man. Thanks for enjoying some dessert with me. That was awesome.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Hell yeah, man. All right. Well, I think you pretty much have it all wrapped up here. If you want to go ahead and just shout out your handles, so if people want to follow you and what you're doing, they can do that.
Yeah, I mean, Cptwaffles on YouTube there. It's pretty much the only space that I'm really producing content on.
Okay.
And if you want to find me on Discord or Patreon, the links are in my channel. So you can hit me up
Nice.
there. Patreon, we do monthly giveaways on there. I've done where somebody has walked home with like $70 worth of value, just all free from packs that got opened for them.
I've seen it.
I have a free membership to just kind of get in and kind of see a little bit behind the scenes, but the paid members do get to see a lot more. Just like
Heck
the
yeah.
thing I don't want to mention yet, but they already know what's coming. So
Okay.
it's some big project that I'm really working on to try to get out there. It will be a paid service, what's coming out, but it will be well worth it. I think it's very underpriced for the value you're going to get, and I did it on purpose because I don't want people to have to spend a ton of money for it. But I do, I do want to offer something that people can enjoy and possibly work their way up into something else. So, but yeah, I
Hell
mean,
yeah.
Other than that, that's pretty much it. I'm excited because I did get a bunch of stuff in from a certain channel. That's another channel that I hang out with, is MTG Attitude, with Big Boss
Oh,
Dave
okay.
and Editor J and all them. I do get on MTG Jerks with them and beat them up in arena a lot.
Good job.
Dave just called me like last week and was like, "Hey, by the way, don't put anything out until we put it out." I was like, "Okay." So yeah, there's
Right.
something cool
Don't want to
coming
steal
out
their
soon.
thunder.
Yeah, no. So that's another collab. I actually did a full box giveaway for their patrons, completely free. I sponsored it,
Wow.
everything. So yeah, I mean, I like to give stuff away. I love to. That's something I didn't talk about, but I went through, when we lived in Iowa. I went through this whole thing of like minimalist, and I
Mm-hmm.
sold all of my Lego collection. I sold all of my Funko Pop collection, my entire
Oh,
Pokemon
wow.
collection.
Oh,
I
man.
just sold a bunch of stuff because I'm like, and it was at the height of the collection craze, so it was perfect.
Okay.
But I was just
Okay.
like, I don't need this. I don't need this stuff. Like, it's sitting on a shelf collecting dust, or it's just in a
Yeah.
box. I'm like, I don't need it. Like, and so that's why I like to give stuff away. I like to give, um, cards and just,
Yeah.
give. It's better to give than receive. So that's why I do it. So
Hell yeah. Well, maybe we'll dive into that minimalist story in another episode.
yeah. So, I
Yeah.
got a lot of stuff I can talk about. So, um, probably part 2 and part 3 coming.
Stories as long as your beard.
Oh yeah.
That's what's up, bro. All right. Well, yeah, I guess that about wraps it up. Again, I am Alex, the TCG dude. This is Captain Waffles here, our guest for the episode, and it's been a pleasure having you, man. Hopefully we can get something else lined up for something in the future.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me.
Hell yeah. All right, bro. Well, I appreciate it. And adios to you and to all the viewers and listeners out there. Until next time. Adios.